Okay, this move was a mistake because white in this position white forces a stalemate. So how it does it? First, Queen G8 check. So here there are two possibilities for black's king. First possibility is just take white's queen. Well, we'll consider this possibility later. Let's consider first possibility. First possibility maybe king h6, then white would play queen h8 check, and here the only move black has is to play king g6, and then white mates. White in this position, white just mates black. So the other possibility, actually, well, there is another possibility to move to g6, but that's just the same mate. The same mate will be delivered on g7, queen g7. So black has really no other option but to take this queen. And here white plays the other move. Rook takes g7, and here black has two options, and both of them lead to stalemate. First option, if black's king takes the rook, then it's a stalemate, because white doesn't have any moves, and it's a stalemate. So the other possibility is for king to play, let's say, king f8, but then well, taking queen on g3 would be incorrect, because white would be still like black has a knight against white's pawn, so it's not so good for white. Instead, white can just force a stalemate by playing rook f7 check. And here again, if black's king takes this rook, then it's a stalemate. So again, black's king has to move. And so now we just go into perpetual check, and sooner or later the position will repeat itself 3 times. So it's a stalemate, and that's actually a beautiful play by white. So kind of teach you a lesson that you should fight until very end in every game. And actually, okay, let me show the correct way to proceed for black. So let's go back. So let's start from this position. It's now white's move. White played pawn h4, black played check, white played king h1, and then black played queen takes pawn. So that was a mistake, because white can force force a stalemate. So the correct way to proceed for black would be to play in this position queen g6, and then let's say white wants to just mate black, rook f8, and then black would play queen e6 with a threat of well, let's see if white just plays a random move, then black would just play queen h3 and then mate next move. So here black has a concrete threat, so white would play something like rook h8 check, and but then there is no other way, like white's queen cannot simply move out of this diagonal c8 h3 diagonal because of this mate threat. So white would play, say, e8 to exchange queens, and in this position black is knight versus pawn up, so here black would have a winning endgame. Hello, my name is Sergey Voroztsov, and today I would like to present a game between Larry Evans and Samuel Reshevsky, which was played in 1963, and this is a very famous game, and it's very deep, and there was a lot of tension in this game, and but we will be interested mostly in the later part of the game, so I'll go through the opening very quickly. So the game went as follows. Larry Evans is white and Samuel Reshevsky is black here. Okay, and here black takes pawn on d4, and white takes bishop on b4. Black takes on c3, and white takes on c3. So so in this position material is equal. Okay, so here if black takes, I believe if black takes on c4, then rook c5 is very powerful. Okay, so black here went to knight d7. White takes, and rook e8. check. So here black just won a pawn on c5. So here black little by little moves into white's position, build up forces to attack white's king. So now white's bishop is attacked, and here actually white's bishop doesn't have any good squares to move to, so white has to lose its bishop. So bishop takes on b5, and here instead of just taking bishop, black can play queen g5 and threaten mate next move, queen takes g2. So here white has to somehow remove this threat. So white plays pawn g3, and here black plays pawn takes bishop. So in this position, white cannot play pawn takes knight, because then pawn takes pawn, and white's bishop doesn't really have any good squares to move to. So white bishop would move to f2 probably, and then rook d2, and that's obviously very bad for white. So white didn't take the knight on f4, and instead played rook takes knight, another knight on d7. And here black just continues the assault of the position of white's king. And here white takes pawn on f7, black takes bishop, and white plays pawn h4, check, king h1, and black plays g3. And you can pause this video to think why that move was a mistake. Hello, my name is Sergey Vorozhtsov, and today I would like to consider a chess game between Marshall and Levitsky, and Marshall is black, and the game was played in Breslau in 1912. So this is very famous and very beautiful game, and let's see how it went. Okay, so here white puts pressure on e6 pawn. Black plays queen d6. So here black puts kind of pins this knight on c3. So white takes knight. Black retakes with a rook. So here bishop takes knight, pawn takes bishop, and queen takes pawn on c3. And here white plays rook takes on d5, takes pawn on d5. So white cannot take the rook because queen e8 check. The only move is rook f8, then bishop check, king h8, and queen f8 mate. So so this rook is untouchable. Okay, so black played therefore black played knight d4, attacking white's queen, queen h5, black doubles rooks, and okay, rook e5. And here black plays excellent move for rook h6, attacking queen. White's queen h5 g5, and here here black can take this bishop on h3, because if pawn takes rook, then it's a collective fork on both queen and rook. So white cannot take black's rook. And here white played rook c5, and here, well, one should be clear that white is already knight down, so white is losing here, but in any case, in this position black has a just wonderful and stunning move, queen g3. This is considered one of the most beautiful moves in the history of chess. So let's consider what's going on here. Let's consider responses, different responses for white. So first of all, about rook. White cannot take the rook because of discovered check. So what white can do here, and what is a threat if white just makes arbitrary move, let's say rook a5, then the threat is queen takes h2 mate. So white has to eliminate black's queen, and there are three ways to eliminate black's queen. Okay, let's consider first possibility. Pawn takes queen, but then knight e2 mate. So the other possibility is to take with the other pawn. F pawn takes queen. Then the same move, knight e2 check, and the only legal move white has is king h1, and then rook takes rook mate. So this possibility also leads to mate. And there is a third possibility. Queen takes queen. In this case, black should proceed as follows. Knight again, knight e2 check. So here the only move is king h1, and then knight takes on g3 check. And okay, this pawn cannot take knight. If this pawn takes knight, then rook takes rook mate. So in this situation, the only possibility to avoid mate is to move king to g1, and then knight takes rook. Here the best move for white is pawn takes rook, and well, one can play, let's say, knight to d2, and here one can clearly see that black is knight up and has a winning endgame. So that was a just stunning play by Frank Marshall. Hello, my name is Sergey Vorozhtsov, and today I would like to present the game of Edward Lasker against Thomas. And this game was played in London in 1912, and we won't be very much interested in the opening, and we will look at the later stage of the game. So let's just go very quickly through the opening. Lasker is white. Okay, knight is pinned. And now there is a forced mate by white, and you can pause this video to think what is the white's move. Okay, so the white's move is as follows. Actually, it's a queen sacrifice. Queen takes h7. The only legal move black has is to just take this queen, and then very good move. Knight takes bishop. So this move, knight takes bishop, black cannot capture this knight because it's double check. Knight, both knight and bishop on d3, both of these pieces give a check, so king has to move. And there are just two squares for king to move, because knight takes out this square, so maybe first possibility h8, king to h8, but then knight g6 mate. So then we are left with the second possibility, king h6. And if king h6, then as always when king is out, it's important to keep the squares, keep the squares under attack, the squares which king can use to retreat. So we should not let it retreat back. So the move is as follows. Knight check. So these squares are protected. Well, this square is the only square because this square is also protected by this knight. So black has to move to this field, to this square, and then pawn check. The only move is to f4, and here pawn f3, sorry, pawn g3 check. And again, the only move is king f3, so king marched all the way, and that's great. So then bishop gives check, and again the only move, and again black has only one move, black's king to g2, the only move. So then rook check, and here is again the only move is king to g1, and here goes mate, king d2 mate. Or one may also play castle and mate.